That did not happen. We're going to edit that right out. Okay. Yo, it's your boy, Seafoam Soldier. And today, we've got a very special guest joining us.
I'm Bob. I'm here. I'm queer. And I'm still floppy.
Yeah, good to know. And today, we're going to talk about our opinions on the season 10 queens so far. Our sort of expanded first impressions, if you will. So we haven't actually chatted about this yet, Bob. So let's just start off by hearing your thoughts on the cast as a whole.
On the whole, I think it looks pretty strong. I think I don't know, just timing wise, even I was a bit confused that it was coming out during All Stars 3, because I feel like in many ways it overshadowed the previous episode. Because I feel like it was just a bit like, okay, cool. So there's some stuff happening in this episode. But also, have you seen these queens? For me, it's a bit like jarring. I kind of wanted a break. I kind of wanted to not be. I'm worried about being oversaturated. But in terms of the queens themselves, it looked. Because that's the thing. I was thinking, like, are they really going to start, looking for this many queens this often? Are they really going to start using up all the big names and whatever? But actually, it looks like an incredibly strong cast, in my opinion. I can see like a good 4, 5, or 6 who I can kind of comfortably see being at the top. So. Yeah,
I would disagree with that. I think I was saying to Yaz when we went through it before. So yeah, I'm really surprised that it's airing so soon as well. Because I know Dragula is not like the same production company, but we had Dragula, we had season 9, Dragula, All Stars 3, and now season 10. It's been like non-stop drag back to back, which I'm happy about, I guess. But it does seem a bit strange. I guess we're gonna have it'd be weird to have a break from drag after season 10 finishes.
Right, I think that's kind of the thing, isn't it? But then, what if All Stars 4 kicks in? We can't have 3 seasons within 1 year, can we?
I don't think they're going to do All Stars yearly. I think that'd be a mistake if they do.
Yeah, that would be far too soon. I think it needs a little bit more time to cook. I think. Exactly. But aside from that, I mean, it's. I think it's going to be pretty decent. I can see a few who I already really love, and a few who I can tell it might take a little bit of time to warm to. But yeah, they're pretty decent.
Interesting. I like that positivity. Well, should we go through the queens one by one, or do you want to start off by just going through your favourites, or how do you think we should do it?
Whichever works best for you. Let's do it as we go, because I feel like actually otherwise we'll just say all the favourites and then be like, the rest are kind of rubbish.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. So should we start off alphabetical order as they've been doing it?
Yes, indeed. So we start off with Aquaria.
Correct.
Who, thank you for confirming my
alphabet on point.
Yeah. I'm really good at letters.
Yeah, you are. That's one of your best things.
Thank you, man. I mean, I've tried really hard. But yeah, no. So I think Aquaria is an interesting one because her name I know has been floated around for a long time, but this is the first time she's been able to apply because she's now finally 21, or at least was when it was aired. I have kind of slightly mixed feelings, but on the whole, feel pretty good about her. Like, I think she's incredibly put together. Like her looks so far seem incredible. Like things I've seen of hers online, she seems to be really on it. I'm intrigued to see how she does in performances because I've seen like a couple of lip syncs of hers and they seem pretty decent. But I don't know what else she brings to the table in that sense. I'm sure a lot. She seems very confident. I'm worried that she's kind of too confident, but I also wonder how much of that is like a jokey front for this initial Meet the Queens. Because I mean that whole line of I don't define drag is defined by me. I was like, those two things mean the same.
I know, but I love that though. I know.
I think she knows that.
How ridiculous that is, but I know. I was into it.
I think that's the thing. I get the feeling that she's very smart. So I feel like she's saying that knowing it's ridiculous. And if I'm right on that, I'm gonna absolutely love her. I think.
Oh, I don't know. So I don't know if I give her that much credit, to be honest.
But we shall see. How do you feel about her?
I'd say, first of all, hey guys, thanks for joining us in the chats, getting involved, which I appreciate. So must I say, the wait is so long and it sucks. But this time, I really should make the text chat bigger, the font. I keep forgetting to do that. It's going to blend together, especially since I'm already not super excited about All Stars 3 anymore. Interesting. Aquaria. I think it could be a bit of a Miss Fame situation where she was well known before coming on the show, and because of that, we expect a lot out of her. And like already for me, she's fallen. She's not hit the mark. I think it's different. Like if she came in and didn't know anything about her at all, maybe I would be more impressed. But yeah, I'm a little bit unimpressed so far. I mean, I think, I mean, both of us have like seen the Queens doing other things on YouTube, but we're mainly going to be talking about Sasha's interview with them. And I think, for example, in that she had one of the weakest outfits, and was one of her. She was a lot more relaxed than her Meet the Queens in the interview. But I don't know. I think she seems so far to me pretty mediocre. I'm hoping she won't be, but I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, I feel like she's an interesting one for that because I feel like there's there are high stakes for her because she's so well known before going in, and I think she could be one who very much has that kind of fall from grace. But I don't know. I think she'll pull through and do pretty well so far, based on just what we've seen. But there's still kind of a big question mark over parts of her for me. Just like I don't quite know what she can do outside of some of these other things. I'm sure she's incredibly talented, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think again, based on previous seasons, I think the queens who are known, who are well loved outside of a show, I think they tend to keep them in for longer than they potentially should have, or like longer than other queens who are totally fresh faces to the sort of greater public. So I don't know. I think she'll be given a fair chance, and we'll sort of see what happens. But I don't know. I think it could be again. I really don't know how she's going to perform. This is just like initial impression sort of thing. But I think she could potentially be too young. It could be too soon for her to be on the show. So I mean, I don't know. I'm still excited to see what she's going to bring. She's one of the ones I was most excited for when I saw the cast, and I still am. Marcel's, for example, saying he's worried that she's just going to be a looks queen, and I don't know. I think it's really difficult to have like a well-rounded sort of a repertoire of talents or whatever when you're that young, you know. So
yeah, that's a good point. I think and I think for me that's what the unknown part of it is for me. It's like if she'd been kind of, I mean, she's been doing it a long time comparatively for her age, but if she was a kind of queen who'd been putting up stuff, and I've got a few things to say about this with Monet because I love her, and I kind of that's the kind of thing I'm missing from her, is just being able to see things so far that she's done, like other things that she's done that are not looks or kind of lip sync performances. But we shall see. Yeah.
So, but overall, you excited to see more from her, or?
Pretty much, yeah. She's kind of in the term. She's one of the people I'd put in the kind of 6 or so that I'm interested in, but maybe in the lower part of that 6.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I'm on the same page as you with that. And guys, let us know your thoughts on the queens in the chat as we go through them. So should we move on to Asia?
Yes, yeah. I kind of don't know what to feel about her. In many ways, there's a lot. I mean, when I watched it again, the kind of like weird kind of net thing that was her wig, I kind of grew to love it a little bit more. But also, yes, and I don't know. I think at first, I think she kind of compared to a lot of the other ones who come in kind of all guns blazing in terms of their like interview thing, kind of that Jaden Dior fierce thing of like kind of coming in hashtag, like kind of like a few people seem to have very much been like, here is who I am. Here is who I am. Here's a hashtag for it. Here's who I am. Which in some ways is a bit intense, but I feel like Asia was a bit quieter in that respect. But I do get that impression. I mean, she did talk about being a bit of a workhorse, but I actually do get that impression just from the way she talks. So there's a kind of feeling of like, she's been there, she's done that. She's even on challenges, she might be a bit weaker on. Generally, she's going to probably pull something out from experience.
I mean, again, in this Sasha interview, she said she makes all her own clothes. I mean, the fact that she can make the outfit she was wearing, which was amazing, I think shows how talented she is.
Oh, absolutely.
She takes it seriously.
Yeah.
So I don't know. My opinion on her has sort of changed a decent amount from the Meet the Queens after seeing the Sasha Velour interview. I think she could be the black horse of the competition potentially. I don't know. I don't think she's going to win this. I think she's. She's going to do better than I initially thought she would from her Meet the Queens. Like, I'm not agreeing with you. I still think that wig from her Meet the Queens was a big mistake. in my opinion. But,
Fair, yeah. It's the more I looked at it, the more I was like, I don't really understand it, but okay. Because I think the first time I didn't necessarily notice all the different layers of it or how it was completely flat at the top. I kind of just thought it was like, I don't know.
I don't know. Like maybe Cutty could have pulled it off, but
yeah, I think that's it, isn't it? But we'll see. I think you're absolutely right. I think she's going to be one of those ones who I don't necessarily expect as much to do something, but will kind of sneak up in there. Maybe I was going to say like Jocelyn Fox, but Jocelyn Fox is very, very different as a queen. But you know what I mean? Like that kind of a queen who's just kind of there in top 5 or 6, and you're like, oh, I mean, she totally deserves it, but oh.
yeah. I mean, maybe this is a bit harsh, but it sort of links to what Marcel's saying. I mean, I'm the one who's making it harsh. Marcel's being nice. Marcel's saying Asia's giving him peppermint vibes, like as immature and doesn't base her self-worth off of the competition, which I think is great. But also, I think Peppermint was one of the ones that's like, oh, Peppermint's in the top. You know?
Yeah. Right. We shall see with her. I feel kind of quietly optimistic about her doing pretty well so far. Like she's not one of the ones that I was kind of raving about, but I also don't hate her. Which sounds really harsh. Like I don't hate her.
I'm sure she appreciates that.
Great, well done. Here's a cookie. Yeah. But no, she should be all right. She's all right. I'm wondering if there is going to be, I mean, because obviously with the amount of them who seem to very much reference their drag mothers or daughters or whatever, I do wonder if that's a theme of this season, particularly with it being the 10th, whether there's going to be very much a kind of drag mothers and daughters style thing. Because in that case, Asia's quite an interesting one. Because I think, isn't Fifi's her drag daughter?
I think that's right. Someone said in a comment in the last video.
Yeah,
I think that's right. Yeah, or drag mum maybe. No, it's got to be drag daughter.
I think drag daughter because I think I saw Fifi posting something like "You go, mama" kind of thing. So, yeah.
Interesting. Fifi's still getting involved. I wonder where Fifi stands with Drag Race and VH1 and stuff after what happened.
Yeah, I do wonder. I just think she's incredibly talented, Fifi, and that's what really bugs me because it's just like so much of the kind of personality and the kind of personality differences that she had with people and with VH1 itself, it seems kind of really held her back. But also, she seems to be doing all right aside from that. So I hope she's okay.
Yeah, me too. Very, very interesting. For example, so I would expect her to be at the finale for Asia if she's her drag daughter, but obviously based on what's happened, I doubt she will be. So I don't know, it could be interesting. If she shows up, that'd be awesome.
Definitely, that would be kind of fun to see. And I think, I mean, it's interesting because I wonder if, you know, with a lot of the kind of drag daughters or members of the drag family, you'd kind of be like, oh, you know, it's like with Alexis Mateo, be like, oh, I wonder how Alexis is doing. I haven't seen her in a while, kind of thing. But with Fifi, I think a lot more people might be like, you know, is that thing is Asia going to be like, so I don't have any drag daughters?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But no, I'm still here for you, Fifi.
Okay, I'm sure she appreciates that.
I'm sure she's watching right now, being like, kind of feeling her heart filling with joy. At that.
Of course it is. We'll tweet this to her. So should we move on to Blair?
Yeah. Okay. So she is one who I am really unsure about. Like,
Interesting.
There's a lot about her that I like, but I don't know. There's something about her that to me I can't quite tell if I'm going to see her in the top 3 or go out in like 10th place, and I can't quite work out. I'm pretty sure it's going to be higher up, because she seems incredibly put together. She's very clever. She seems very quick, but I don't know. There's something about.
Yeah, I know what you mean. She came across in the interview like very young. Like not in a bad way. Like she was very sweet. Like she seemed super sweet, nice, and everything, but just very young.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think the thing that I feel with her is just like so far from what I've seen, there seem to be a lot of queens who are going to be very good at acting. So I feel like not her one shtick. That's unfair on her, but you know she keeps on talking about being a Broadway baby, and so I feel like it's going to be interesting because there are so many other queens there who seem very, very performance based, and so. It's, you know, that's kind of why I feel like she might float somewhere between those two extremes, because I can't, like, if she can find the way of getting her kind of niche and still do really well on other challenges, then I think she'll be incredibly good. But I'm worried that she might kind of have a kind of Trixie style thing where, you know, Trixie's whole thing was musical comedy, and then she went out in a musical comedy challenge. And I'm kind of worried about that with Blair.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying, but I think what I like about her though is she's just very unique. We haven't really seen. I know what you mean in terms of like the Broadway stuff not being unique, but I think just her personality. And again, I know we had old school fashion, so it's not necessarily like any like particular aspect of what she does is unique, I guess, but just the whole package together to me just seems unique. I don't know, like maybe I really like her. Like I think she's like her looks she's very like some queens to me. I think it's just personal preference, but like just like really beautiful, and I just like really enjoy looking at them. And I don't know, like Blair's one of those ones for me. I just think she's like very pretty, but like a very like I want to know what she's about, like what she's going on. You know, I'm really intrigued by her. I'm not saying like she's going to win or she's going to do amazing necessarily, but like she's one of the ones I'm most sort of interested to see more from.
I get the feeling that she knows her references as well, and I feel like that's going to be a really strong thing. Like I just get the feeling that she's very clever, and she's studied a lot of the kind of the canon, as it were. Like I just get that kind of sense that the things she was referencing, her kinds of looks, those kinds of things altogether, I'm quite excited about generally. I'm just worried that she might hit some kind of wall, but at some point. But I'm hoping she doesn't, because I think she's got a lot of potential.
Yeah, interesting though. I wonder how old she is, because we're saying before. Well, I was saying that I feel like potentially because of Aquaria's age, she seems like I don't know. She might not be the best time for her to be in the competition. Whereas Blair seems really young. And looks young as well.
She's 22. I think I remember seeing something like 22, 23.
But I don't know. But in comparison to me, she seems like more ready for the competition. Like I don't know. She seems like her character's more fully realized, perhaps. And what she wants to accomplish and what she's going for, again, is more fully realized. I don't know. Again, is it just like from what we've seen so far? But I don't know. To me, out of the two, I think she's a lot more likely to go all the way.
Yeah, I hope so. Definitely.
Cool. Should we move on to Dusty?
Yeah. So Dusty's an interesting one for me, because I don't know. Watching the Meet the Queens again, I was kind of a bit like, visually what Dusty's doing, I was like, I am here for it. It's kind of a lot of the kind of things that I really loved about Acid Betty. I hate doing the whole comparison Queens thing, but the things I loved about Acid Betty, that kind of severeness, that kind of being unafraid to take kind of these sort of silhouettes and kind of crazy things and add like little things and kind of be over the top, but in a kind of wonderful nightmarish way. Like I love that about Dusty, but at the same time, just like I did find the interviews were a little bit like, yeah, so my name's Dusty Ray because my name's Dusty Ray. And I was a bit like, okay, kind of waiting for the interview to kind of take it up a notch. But at the same time, you never know. Like Dusty could actually like bring it. I think Meet the Queens is obviously just like a couple of minutes, and then like another couple of minutes with Sasha.
But it's I know what you're saying. But what do you think of the interview compared to her Meet the Queens?
I think she came across a little bit. For me, it came across a little bit better in the Sasha Velour one, but I was a little bit kind of underwhelmed at first with Dusty on the in the initial Meet the Queens video, just like them doing the interviews to camera.
But do you feel better about her after seeing her on being interviewed by Sasha?
Oh yeah, I feel a bit better as a result. I think looks wise, Dusty's going to be great, and I'm really excited to just see what Dusty brings. But I just hope that there's, I don't know. I hope that we can see a really great amount of fire when Dusty's actually performing.
Well, I don't know. Again, like I agree with you in terms of comparisons, but I did compare it to Bitch Pudding from Dragula on my initial reaction to Meet the Queens. But I think personality-wise, it could be a similar sort of thing where she seems like super chill, like she's like a really cool queen, someone I could happily hang out with. But it could sort of work to a detriment, sort of thing, where she doesn't really shine as a result. But what I noticed a big difference personally between her Meet the Queens and her interview with Sasha. I think she came across with Sasha like super passionate, super excited, confident. I was actually really impressed with her in the Sasha interview. I really liked her look as well. and again, like the confidence she has to carry it off. Like I feel like with Layla, for example, I'm not comparing the two, but I mean Layla had quite like a grungy, like different look, but she's very shy and like not introverted, but like not extroverted, I guess. I don't know. Like, she doesn't put herself out there too much. She sort of like takes a bit of a background role, I guess, or at least she's on Drag Race. Whereas I feel like Dusty is more extroverted and more like confident and out there with his look and personality generally.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, and I think that that comparison to Layla is a very interesting and very good one, because I think you're right. There's that kind of people who might kind of in interviews or whatever be slightly more guarded. It's always difficult to know how they might perform then, and it's quite interesting seeing, for example, when Layla had like a video on Wow Presents or something by herself, and Layla was like really into it and really bubbly and really interesting to watch, versus on Drag Race where like you can see Layla being like, oh shit, there are some big personalities here. So it should be interesting. I think I like Dusty.
But you're not massively excited.
I'm excited looks wise. I'm nervous for her, but I have a lot of faith in her as a queen.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Marcel's saying that Dusty feels like she belongs in season 8 queens, like 4G, Acid, and Bob. But I don't know. I feel like because I agree with what you said. I think she's quite similar to Acid in some ways. So I think that would have been too much of a clash sort of thing. I think she can shine more in this season. She's quite different. I think a lot of the queens this season, a lot of the cast seem quite similar in a lot of ways. Like Jess and I was saying during the Meet the Queens that, like, especially like makeup styles and even some of more during the Sash interview, some of their personalities sort of meshed into one for me. Whereas Dusty's one of the ones who really stands out. It's just like has a totally different aura and vibe to me.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Okay, cool. And also, Greek dude in chat, like, thanks. I appreciate the comments, but you are posting spoilers, so no spoilers, please. Spoiler-free zone. So should we move on to next one?
Yes. Who was?
Although it's Eureka. Actually, we've got stuff to say about Eureka. I feel. What do you think about her All Stars? Sorry, not All Stars. Her season 10 reincarnation.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I was not the biggest fan of her in season 9. I have to admit, I find her a bit too much. I mean, I know like finding a drag queen too much seems like a bit of a weird, oxymoron. Like, hang on, what? But I think I do kind of, for example, someone like Bob, who is really, like really energetic, really out there, really in your face. I still find quite nice because I think like Bob is so quick that there's kind of like, it's not just I'm being loud. It's here's something really funny. You need to hear it because it's really fucking funny. Whereas I kind of feel like with Eureka, I'm just like, oh, shut up. It's kind of like I feel I'm basically kind of, I mean, maybe this suits me being old and British, but I kind of get a bit Charlie Hides with Eureka, kind of like, could you just shut up a minute? It's kind of, but at the same time, okay, that said, I liked her Meet the Queens look. I thought that was actually quite, it kind of was showing me what I kind of wanted to see from her before. Like, I don't know, it felt a little, like taking up a notch.
That to me was like Eureka 2.0. It just seemed like more polished than she was given previously.
Yeah, but the look with Sasha Velour, I was like, oh god, what's happening? Like,
I don't understand. Like, I get like her drag's like funny, tongue in cheek, and like a reverend, that sort of stuff. But it was just a bit like. And again, I know it's ironic to say for like a drag queen, but like it's like a bit trying too hard to me.
Yeah. I think what I found weird about it was like, I think with so things I normally love about drag queens are kind of the subtlety of the humor, like the kind of the very clever, very thought through process. And it might manifest itself in like one small detail, or it'll be like one quick joke and then off kind of thing. Or, queens who just really go for it. And I think what I find with Eureka's is kind of like, look, here's a thing. Look, they look a bit like breasts. This looks a little bit like a vagina. Jokes, funny. And it's a bit
that's what you're like as well quite a lot of the time.
What, sorry?
That's what you're like quite a lot of the time.
Oh, I mean, all the time. That's me every day.
I know.
No, but I think that's the thing I found a bit hard with Eureka in season 9 was it was a bit like, I don't know, sometimes I kind of want Eureka to show and not tell.
Well, that's what the interesting. What I found most interesting about the interview with Sasha, she's like, I was not great in season 9. Like, I think I came across bad. I think I was bitter. I think like it came out of a place of insecurity. I wasn't really myself, you know. And I think it's really awesome. She could just be blunt and admit that she didn't like beat around the bush. She didn't.
No,
I don't know. So I feel like
I'm sorry.
I think she's turned the page, you know, or new leaf, whatever the saying is. And I'm excited to see what she brings because I think there are a lot of aspects about her drag and her that I did like from season 9, but you know, I think her insecurities and the sort of she wasn't really nasty, but like a bit, I don't know what, like a bit snotty maybe. I don't know what. No, that's not the right term. Like a bit. I can't think what the word is. You know what I'm trying to say?
Obnoxious, or like I think
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and because I think you're right. I do think there's been a lot of personal growth for her, and I'm excited to see that because I mean, she has so much potential. She's incredibly talented in many, many ways. It's just I think I found, and I wonder if that was maybe it, like that kind of insecurity. And actually, this is something I kind of want to come to a little bit with you, Hua, but that kind of insecurity does, I think, sometimes lead to making the obvious joke because.
Oh, totally, yeah. Like you see them like on Lee Dawson's recaps.
Yeah.
I remember like the joke express and all that. Like it was like that, wasn't it?
Right. And that's kind of how I felt. It was like Eureka almost felt the need to be like, I'm making a joke, you need to notice me. And I'm hoping that, because I feel like once that's stripped away, like actually the amount of talent we can see from Eureka will
totally agree. Although the fly outfit, is that not just a repeat of that exact same thing?
I know. I looked at that and I'm like, I think actually, you know what? I mean, the breast part, I was like, okay, that kind of works but it's just like the crotch bit. I was like, it just like not only is a bit. I just didn't like. I thought the joke was a bit like anyway, but it just for me, it just again felt like too obvious, and plus it kind of ended up turning into like a weird smile, and I was like, this is kind of unnerving.
It's drawing you in. It was drawing you in.
It was.
I don't know, but what I did like, to be honest, like I agree with everything you said, but I liked her attitude on the runway. She was fun to watch for me. Like
that's true.
She did sell the outfit. Like it wasn't a great outfit, but in my opinion, it wasn't really for me. But like she was fun to watch. Like the way she's like her facial expressions and like again, she exuded confidence and like I don't know. I think she's very charismatic. So I don't know. I guess based on everything we've just chatted about, like. I don't know. Like I'm still fairly confident she's turned the page or whatever. I don't know what the damn saying is, but I'm still unsure because there's like little hints that maybe she hasn't like the outfit and stuff like that. So I'm definitely interested to see. I'm gonna like approach her in season 10 with fresh eyes, sort of thing. Like give her a blank slate. I feel like she deserves that, you know. And I feel like just purely because she's sort of like. Acknowledged her faults and is willing to like correct them and change, I guess. And I don't know.
Yeah, no, I hope so. I'm going to try and do the same. I think because I mean, I've done it before with other queens on various All Stars or whatever, where I've kind of gone from being like, oh, I really, to just being like, okay, let's try and approach them with a blank slate. And I've enjoyed them far more. Like, I mean, I didn't feel as passionately angry about her as someone like Aja. I was just a bit like, okay, like I was excited to see what she could deliver for All Stars 3, and kind of gave her the benefit of like pretending a lot of season 9 hadn't happened, even though I still think she did a lot of great things in season 9. But I mean, that was, I don't know why I'm comparing the two. It was a very different thing for me with those. But basically, yeah, the same thing of like, I think there is a lot to be gained by.
Well, it is similar, right? I mean, I guess season 10 was probably filmed. I guess like I don't know, like not too long after All Stars 3, right? So
yeah, that's true.
Pretty situation where there's been barely any time since the seasons, comparatively. And it's interesting to see. And like again, like look at the amount. That's a perfect point. I look at the amount of growth Aja made in such a short period of time. Who's to say Eureka hasn't made the same amount of growth? You know, although Aja has set the bar like ridiculously high with the change. So I don't know. It's a bit of a tricky one, I guess.
I miss Aja.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Although, again, I haven't seen the latest episode yet, so no one say anything. I feel the damn title, no spoilers. But yeah, I'm hoping in the redemption episode or whatever, so in the season, I'm going to see a little bit more of her at least. I feel like Marcel's agreeing with us about Eureka. He thinks a lot of how she acted was out of insecurity and that she's become more self-assured now, so hopefully she'll be better. So yeah, I feel like that's Eureka covered.
Mhm.
And then the next one, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on Karbdashian. I don't even like saying it.
No, I. Uh, uh, so okay, I have to admit, my first. I mean, it's probably a bit snobbish to me. When I first saw that someone had, like, admittedly, I didn't see the carb part first. I just read Kardashian, and I was like, oh Jesus, come on now, because I'm a bit like with the Kardashians anyway. I just find them like, although that yes, they're important culturally in a certain moment and whatever. I think I don't know. I just find I don't know. There are so many other people you could use as role models for your drag who are really fascinating, elaborate characters. Anyway,
I
but
don't know why you're using the stream to attack the Kardashians. What have I done to you?
well, we can't talk about that.
Okay, another stream.
But then at the same time, I was like, oh, but what if, for example, she's a complete send-up of them? And I was really hoping that she would end up being like someone who has them in her name and is like a wonderful kind of twisted sister version of them. And she kind of hinted at that. And I was like, she was saying, oh, she's everything they want to be, everything Calorie wants to be, but she can't be, so blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, that could set up a really interesting character. But then when she carried on talking, like, oh, but you're not, okay. I was really hoping for like a full-on parody character.
Yeah.
I wasn't that amazed by either look, really, and I don't know.
Yeah. As I was about to say, because both of you took the words out of my mouth. Trinity K. Bonet is another Kardashian, right? And it's the same sort of thing where it's like, it's just like a bit of a weird homage. Really, doesn't really make a ton of sense to me. And Marcel, you and I are on exactly the same page. My initial thought about her was basic, and now I've seen more of her, like, still basic. Yeah, like, I mean, her outfit in the Sasha interview, like what she was saying, like, I don't know, like I hope she delivers more, but I'm not expecting her to, which is harsh, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, I kind of feel the same. I mean, that's the thing. She could really knock it out of the park for all we know. It could be, this could be like a bit of a smoke screen. That's the thing. I just don't feel it because I don't know. And again, I think actually maybe it was you and your thing in your review of the Meet the Queens. But if someone has to say, I mean, yeah, obviously, hashtag iconic, hashtag work that puss. But was it maybe you were saying about this? If a queen has to constantly say "I'm really nice," then maybe they're not.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I was a bit like, oh, right, you're nice. That's your thing. Okay.
But that leads into what you were saying as well, though, because you're like the whole Kardashian thing. Like, literally, you're putting it as like the main part of your name. Like, you're telling us that you're a Kardashian instead of like doing something with it, like parodying it or like being obviously Kardashian-esque or whatever it is. Like, all you're doing is just telling us. You know?
Yeah, I kind of hope that the calorie part was an indication that there was going to be like that was going to show that there was a full-on parody, like the fact that spelling calorie with a K and obviously having calories as being almost such an un-Kardashian thing, in the sense of whatever. Like, I really liked the concept of her being perhaps like an outcast sister who like nobody spoke about, like that other like weird Trump daughter who like is like completely like never mentioned. I was kind of hoping she'd like be that. Not a Trump daughter, but
Sandra.
Yeah,
the forgotten Trump daughter.
Can you imagine?
That'd be amazing. Just like in the back, like in the Lee Dawson videos where Lagrange always sat under the table, like in the clips. Like he just like sat behind the podium, just like writing like behind like Trump's speech.
Dear diary, it's me, Lagrange.
Exactly. That'd be amazing.
I'm now imagining like a whole kind of scenario in which like it's the secret, like Lagrange is the secret love child of Donald Trump and Alyssa. But like as when it's been outcast because Trump doesn't want to be associated with a drag queen, or something. And yeah, I'm kind of it's not.
But then no, I'm into this, and he learns to embrace her though, and then like he starts like he does this really serious speech, and at the end he's like, "Yes, God." At the very end or something like that, like super serious.
In Yes, God, we trust.
Exactly, that's it. But with little tongue poppy ends as well. And you just see Ganja look up from her like notepad in the back, like
eyes full of tears.
Exactly.
Just like, Like carries on writing in her diary, like, dear.
Exactly. Lee, please make this.
Why is this not a thing already? But anyway, the fact that we ended up talking about that instead of calorie Karbdashian probably says a lot about.
Oh, totally. That's like spot on. That's like proper shade right there, but I totally agree. Yeah. Wait. So what Marcel's saying, the calorie carb part feels like insecurity to me. I'm a big guy, so I know what about trying to make the joke before others can. She's basically entering every room with, don't worry, I know I'm chubby. I know, but the weird thing is as well, she doesn't seem that big to me. Like, she's obviously the big girl this season, but she doesn't seem that big. I don't know, like.
Yeah. And I mean, also, yeah, I mean, I think Marcel's right there as well. You do have that kind of making the joke before it happens. I mean, Eureka did that definitely last year. Like every joke coming out of Eureka was pretty much, I'm going to eat you. Like it was, you know, so much of that. Well, no, not every joke, but she did say it a few times, at least in the.
No, she said, I'm going to eat you, though, like specifically.
She said that to Valentina or something during the when they were the queens were first coming in. But
interesting. Yeah, I think I would have said like previous seasons as well. But like my thing is, I don't like when people like rely on crutches. Yeah, but ones that is like not something they've developed themselves. Like it's not something they've worked on. Like unless they work specifically on being fat for the joke, then fine, use it. But like if you're just fat, don't make your whole like persona and character about being fat.
Right.
Like develop some sort of like something interesting away from that, because that's not interesting.
Right. It's the whole Alexis Michelle painting herself green thing, isn't it? It's the like.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, and I sometimes feel like, so if you compare that to Calorie Kardashian, for example, to Blair St. Clair. Blair St. Clair's whole thing is being a Broadway baby, but she's worked at that. Like she has.
Oh, totally. Yeah, exactly.
Whereas, yeah, I feel like Calorie's, I don't know, yeah, like, and I feel like part of it is, like as Marcel was saying, making that joke before it happens. But also I do kind of wonder, like, okay, so in a situation now where we're okay, you know, we don't really care whether you're a big or a small girl. Cool, what are you going to bring to the table?
Exactly. And also don't base your drag name on an insecurity. You know, that's not a great start.
But at the same time, I really hope there is a kind of parody aspect to it, or I hope there's something kind of quite fun. I feel like she's one who might kind of grow quite a lot from being in the series itself.
Is it really bad? I just had like a flashback, like a non-existent flashback of like her being on the season with the Kardashian musical and then just doing really, really shit. Like,
yeah, like Farrah with the whole like, I know every single thing, and then just being like, meh.
Yeah, exactly. No, what's her name? Or who played the big girl? The one I love, April Carry On, for example. Like, I bet she'd be similar to April Carry On, and it'd just go really bad. Yeah. But the other thing I was going to say is, like, there's a reason like Latrice Royale is everyone's favorite, like, big queen, and it's like it's not because she's big or goes on about being big or anything like that at all. That's like not part of her gig whatsoever.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and we're gonna come. I'll mention this again when we come to Yuhua, but yeah, I have opinions.
Okay, interesting. So should we move on to Cameron?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm interested in Cameron, not just because Cameron looks really hot outside of drag, which I realize is the thing that a lot of people are currently very thirsty over. But
like I said, like a news reporter, that was interesting.
Like, and people, I was about to kind of do like a RuPaul head like shake by a trick, like.
No, Trixie's ruined it now for everyone.
No, she has. Although that said, a lot of people, I noticed this, and a lot of people also mentioned this underneath the Meet the Queens video, which is like the Aquaria was doing like a lot of like.
That's what we said. You got that from us.
No, but I also did notice this myself, and lots of other people commented this. But also, yeah, you're right. What was I going with? Cameron. Now, I really like her aesthetic. For me, there's something very severe about it in some ways, with kind of like a nice little playfulness. Like she looks like a lot of women I know, but kind of really amped to like the nth degree. And there's something kind of quite fun and edgy.
Humble friend brag.
I know. Just I've got so many cool people who look like Cameron Michaels in drag. And out of drag. You should see my friend group. No, but I think I'm quite interested in what she had to say. Like, I did think, I was like, okay, so you've mentioned kind of this breakup about 2 or 3 times in the space of about 30 seconds. But like, I feel like this might play quite a big role in the season. yeah, either that or that was Cameron Michaels kind of going for a like that was basically like a Tinder bio like done live, just like, hey, come and date me. But I do like the idea that Cameron is quite open to playing with the idea of hypermasculine and hyperfeminine within one, and that interests me because I think that's a lot more playful and fun. I'm a bit. I want to see how she performs in challenges. But looks wise and personality I was getting from the interviews, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I'm on the same page totally. I think like what you're saying about the harsh look goes well with like her sci-fi aesthetic as well, like being into like sci-fi stuff. Like the harshness goes really well with that. They both complement each other perfectly. And the fact that she like referenced the Fifth Element in her Sacha Velour look was so cool. That's one of my favorite films of all time. On that note, Valerian is highly underrated in my opinion. But yeah, like she's saying all my buzzwords, you know, like she's a massive gamer. That's one of her biggest influences. Like, the sort of sci-fi stuff like Fifth Element. But I've been burnt so many times with queens previously who've promised me that sort of vibe and haven't delivered. You know, most obviously it'd be Dax exclamation point, you know?
Yeah.
So again, but like this is similar to what I was saying about Miss Fame, but like opposite. This is like just specific to me. Like now I'm expecting a lot from Cameron. Based on everything she said and sort of based on what we've seen from her so far. So, you know, I'm hoping she can deliver. I
hope so. I feel like she could do very well. Like she's one of the people I put in the kind of rough top 6 kind of.
Yeah, I'd agree. I like you chosen top 6. What I like as well is like she did like I think I don't actually mind like queens with shaved sides of head because I know like Rue doesn't really like it, for example, but I quite like it. But I like what she did in her Sasha interview where her wig sort of started like not at the top of it. It sort of started a bit lower down and it was really pulled back and had clips. So it looked like her hair, like her side of her hair was super, super thin and then all pulled back into the wig as opposed to being like totally shaved. Does that make sense?
I love that. No, I absolutely love that.
Like optical illusion.
That kind of commitment to the detail of how someone might actually look with that. Because that is how someone would try to wear that hair normally.
Exactly. Yeah.
And actually what I thought was really interesting is the kind of degree of versatility actually between the two looks, in the sense that, I mean, obviously the neon look is going to be quite different from what the queens normally present, but I really love that we had this like bright red hair, partly like shaved side, this kind of futuristic spacesuit kind of thing, like the Meet the Queen, with the interview with Sasha, and then this very kind of like really fun neon thing for the Meet the Queens, and I like that. I was like, already I get the feeling that you're a queen who can do quite a bit.
Yeah, after the interview, I was interested in her in Meet the Queens, but after the interview, I'm far more interested in her. I think a lot of that is down to like the second outfit and the versatility she's shown between the two as well.
Absolutely. So yeah, she's one of the ones I'm hoping for. Not quite like top 2, 3 for me, but like definitely like my top like 4, maybe top 3 or 4 so far.
Yeah, I say like if she can demonstrate like more of a gamer aesthetic, then she would be like in my top sort of thing. But yes, I'm definitely excited to see what she's going to bring. So we want to Mayhem.
Yes. Okay. So I am yes, I'm quite excited about her.
Sorry, were you aware of Mayhem before the reveal?
Yes. I'd heard her name thrown out there for season 9. And I very recently watched Cherry Pop, and she's in there. So it's like a film that has quite a few. Yeah, so it's got like Tempest du Jour, Bob the Drag Queen, Detox, someone else. I'm missing someone else. I think that was it. Yeah, and Mayhem's there, and Mayhem's incredibly funny, and works as quite an interesting duo with Detox.
Interesting, because she's been in loads of skits, mainly with Willem. I've seen her a lot with Willem, and also Morgan McMichaels, and she seems to know a lot of the big queens.
Yeah, because she's a West Hollywood girl, isn't she? She's
yeah.
No, I really like her. She seems, I mean, she is incredibly experienced. I've not seen that much of her stuff live, but I mean, she's, in terms of in videos, but I don't leave this apartment. No, but no, I get the feeling that she is going to be incredibly good. Like I feel like so far, I mean, obviously we've not seen her in the show itself. Maybe she won't be as suited to a reality show format, but I can totally see her being in the top 4 easily without like,
That reminds me, like when I was watching, especially the interviews of Sacha Velour, like I was trying to figure out how the queens were acting, whether they got kicked off early or not.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, like how passionate and confident Dusty seemed makes me think he probably did go a long way.
Mm-hmm.
But saying Mayhem as well, like Mayhem just seemed like extremely confident and sure of herself. I think she always has been like that from what I've seen of her. But to me, that sort of suggests she's probably does go relatively far, and that wouldn't surprise me at all.
I get the feeling that she's a queen as well, who will have completely done her homework. Like she will come into that show and be like, "I am ready to compete."
But also, like I said, she knows a lot of Drag Race girls very well, so she can get like all the inside like tea on what to do as well from them.
Right, exactly. I think she is definitely one to watch, and I'd be very excited to see her. I
guess. Sorry, I know I said it quite a lot, but again, she's one I do expect a lot from this season. I'm confident she'll deliver. Like even in her second look I saw from her for season 10 in the Sasha interview, I think it's great, like a 90s R&B look. I haven't seen anyone any Drag Race girl execute a look like that well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. I really like her so far. There's very little I could even try to fault about her, and I don't really want to. Yeah,
looks, personality, like talent. Yeah, I've got high hopes for her. All good stuff. So should we move on?
Yes.
Okay, I was trying to read my writing. Miss Cracker.
Yes. Okay. So I love her. So basically, get ready for like 3 in a row who I basically like completely flap about because or flop about her because she is. I really like her. I think she is incredibly quick, incredibly smart. I really love her looks. I watched a couple of her because she's doing some review videos of All Stars 3, and I really liked her comic timing.
I've been meaning to watch those. They popped up. I meant to watch one.
They're good. She's smart. I really hope that she is going to be rounded enough to be able to do quite well at every challenge. Enough challenges to at least see her into the top 3 or 4. Because I think she deserves it so far. I am really excited about her. She's probably she'd be one of the ones I'd put in the top 2 so far of my favorites.
Okay, based on the comments from the initial reactions to Meet the Queens, like she is one of people's favorites. Like a lot of people like Team Cracker and all that sort of stuff. Me personally, like I see it, like I think she's really good from what I've seen, but I just don't know if I'm meshing with her totally yet. Like I don't know if she's 100% for me yet. Like I'm hoping I get there with her. I think I was entertained by her, and I'm definitely excited to see what she brings. But I think it's the opposite thing for me, where like I think her Meet the Queens was like funny and witty, and I was impressed with what she brought to the table. But I was a little bit disappointed in her Sasha interview. I think I don't remember laughing at anything she said. I'm not saying she wasn't like amusing, but I don't know, I'm not blown away by her yet. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that. I think I was less excited about her from the Sasha interview, but at the same time, what I've seen of her just strikes me as being a queen who I already get the feeling I'd pay to go and see. Like I feel like that you'd go and have an amazing show, kind of thing. So
yeah. Master's making a good point. He's saying Cracker's my top 3. I just love queens who don't take themselves too seriously, but still have the stuff to back up a big mouth. Yes. I think that's a fair assessment.
That's a really good point, because I think, and we'll come to this, we've got a couple of queens I want to say this about later, but I feel like, for example, Miss Cracker, instead of kind of going like, I'm really funny, I'm going to tell you about how I'm really funny, it was just like, joke, land it, boom. And it was just like, okay, fine, you showed me. It's been backed up. Like, I think actually that was the thing, because Aquaria did a lot of like, I'm really great, I'm amazing. Whereas I feel like Miss Cracker kind of went like, what's going to happen? I'm going to win. Cool. Like it was kind of, because Miss Cracker kind of was like, here's a joke, here's another joke, and I'm showing you right now who, like, I got a really strong feeling after watching that, who she was.
I agree with that. Yeah.
And what she was about and why I would like her. And I got that really quickly. Whereas Aquaria was like, I get that you're really confident and you're amazing. I don't quite know what it is that you're doing yet.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you 100%. Kane's making an interesting point. I want to see if you agree or not. Kane's saying, to be honest, I find that Sasha's personality makes it kind of hard to create any two-way banter. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I love Sasha to bits, but I did find her interview was like a lot of like, here's a really good question I'm asking you, and then being like, I love that. Like,
oh my god, that's just like every second. I love that. I love this. I love you. Yeah,
but at the same, so I think actually someone like Miss Cracker would actually have quite a tough time with someone like. I think if, for example, I mean, obviously it'd be a bit unfair, Bob being the interviewer anyway, just because like Bob and Miss Cracker having an interview would be like, you know, it'd be a family reunion. But I think actually did need a character like that. Actually, I feel like Shay would have been really good for interviews, because I feel like Shay would go for those jokes and keep up with them. And whereas I feel like Sasha, I mean, just the way Sasha is, I think Sasha is quite happy to be like, okay, here's the interview. I'm going to push you deeper. And for some of the people she interviewed, I think she was quite good with Cameron, kind of just like, here's another little nudge. So I think she's very good with people like that. But I think with people who are like wisecracking, I think Sasha doesn't necessarily like. I think she can keep up with them, but I just think she chooses not to.
Yeah, she's not necessarily a Bantosaurus Rex.
Yeah. Yes, precisely.
But I think you made a good point. I think Kane made a great point. I do agree with you. But I suppose like what you said as well. Like, I guess certain people just mesh with certain people, and I guess like her interview style I'm sure suits a couple of the queens. But yeah, I think someone like Bob would have been far better fit for someone like Miss Cracker. And I guess because of that, we haven't really seen like her and her element necessarily, and her like Meet the Queens is so unnatural and like stilted. I think she did well in that based on the circumstances. Mm-hmm. But I'd be really interested to see her like in her element, laid back with someone like Bob, for example.
Right, and her working as well in maybe group challenges. So I'd be really interested to see how, because I get the feeling that she's very, very funny, but she's kind of a one-woman show. And so I'm quite intrigued to see how she'd be in a group setting. Whether, you know, she would just be, like, she'd just be like, funny, and then other people in the group would be like, what are you, like, you know, they couldn't keep up with where she was going.
I don't know, I think that could work for her advantage. I think she might be quite, like, quippy and, like, quick with comebacks. I think that could be actually where she shines, potentially.
Right, I'm really hoping that she becomes one of those queens who is like always doing the bit to camera when something else is happening. Like,
yeah.
I really hope, because they're going to be hilarious.
But again, okay, I know we've asked this a lot, but like again, I feel like with you especially, you're expecting a lot from her though.
Yeah, that's true, you know? And it could be dangerous because that's happened a lot where there have been queens who are like, come on, and then I'll be like,
yeah, exactly. That's sort of the fun of the show, though, right?
Yeah, that's true. That was me with Bendler all of season 6. It was like, come on, I love you. Come on, I love you.
But you're All-Stars Fantasy now, though, aren't you?
Well, yeah, precisely. But yes, so that's Miss Cracker.
Cool. So, okay. So one of the ones I was most excited about for Meet the Queens, Monet Exchange.
Yes. So this is what I was talking about, like basically like fanboying like for 3 in a row, because I
don't like that you said 3. We're going to get to this when we get
no, because she's the 3rd.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Miss Cracker.
Okay.
And Mayhem, yeah. So Mayhem, Miss Cracker, the M's, well, minus the other M. But you'll see again my opinions on that. But no, Monet, I love. I adore her looks, the 2 looks that she's given, and the fact that she was clever enough to do a wardrobe reveal during the dance part of the interview with Sasha. So, you know, the little dance thing at the end that they do. She just had a little...
Damn, I was cooking at that part, so I was sort of looking on and off. I don't remember the reveal.
Okay.
What was it?
It was just a small reveal. It was more like just kind of taking off a part of an outfit that you wouldn't necessarily... I don't know. When I looked at it, I didn't think that part would actually detach. It was just like a small thing, but I was just like, that's clever. She knows what she's doing. Maybe a couple of days after the announcement, I saw... This is maybe only a couple of days ago. I saw a really powerful video of her singing Strange Fruit, that kind of old song about racism in America. And like she is dressed up with like she's painted her face to be like a minstrel, and she's singing this. I mean, her singing voice is beautiful, but she's singing this incredibly sad song about people hanging, you know, being lynched from a tree, and it's just like, fuck, like this is good.
I need to see that.
But I mean, like, I already loved her from Meet the Queens. Her look in that was incredible. Like the way she posed, she knows what she's doing.
What's interesting? Sorry, I didn't interrupt you. But what's interesting about that performance she's mentioned is that, like, I can see she brings like a lot of comedy, from what I've seen of her so far. But like, I suppose there's a comedic aspect to that performance you just mentioned, but obviously it's like a really, it's a comment on society and it's got a powerful message behind it. So the fact that she also has that side to her as well, like, is even like more interesting to me. Like, she seems like fully rounded.
That's exactly it. Like, for me, I already got a feeling that she was an incredibly competent queen, like with many, many sides. But then seeing that video, I was like, look, like, wow, like, okay, she can sing, she can like act, she can do good performances, her looks are great, she's funny, she's incredibly warm and charismatic. And then, like she has this political edge, which is an incredibly useful time to have that edge. This is a time when we need political queens, and perhaps more than ever. And so I love her. I
was just thinking, like, as you were saying, like, that's all the qualities of a winner, to be honest. Someone you want to represent the show and the crowd.
Yeah, she so far is my favorite. Her and Miss Cracker are kind of my top two so far. But I mean, obviously we'll see how the season goes. Quite right now, if like literally we found out that it had already been all done and like someone was just being chosen for a winner now, if she was chosen to win, I would be ecstatic. Like, she's great. So yeah, we'll see. And that's what I'm really excited to see, because she seems like I don't think she'll quite be maybe Bianca's level of untouchable going into the show, because there's that thing where she kind of almost couldn't do wrong. But I do get the feeling that like even challenges she doesn't win, she's going to be like, she's going to do something good.
Yeah, I agree.
She's very, very polished, I think. Sorry, I realized I've spoken for like 5 minutes just being like, I love her, but
no, that's how I feel anyway. So you just saved me having to repeat what you're saying, because I said in my initial reaction she was my favorite, outfit, personality, everything. And the more I've seen of her, I just stand by that completely. Like, I don't think her outfit was the most interesting on an interview, but she still shone for me. I don't know, like. Yeah. She obviously has. I think she's got star quality, from what I've seen so far. Again, we never know what's going to happen, but I don't know. She's got something that sets her apart for me.
Right, and I think you very much within 10 seconds of her talking get a real sense of who she is. Whereas I think, and this is going to come out in the next person we're talking about, not every queen, I think, has that, where you can quite easily kind of scratch the surface and know who they are.
Exactly, her personality shines completely.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move on then, right? So I mean, I haven't even written it. I literally don't even remember her now off the top of my head. Is she the one who had like the grey wig?
What color was the wig? She's the one. She had these really. I mean, I really loved her eyes actually, and she had these really long fingernails. And she was like, "It's gonna be." She like made some sounds. She was like, "Season 10 is gonna be like blah blah blah. It's me." Like So. I don't know. The thing I found with her is maybe it's difficult because in terms of Meet the Queens and the interviews with Sasha, because it's done alphabetically, she comes immediately after Mayhem, Miss Cracker, and
that's a good point.
My Exchange. And so you've got these three massive characters in a row who are like, boom, here's who I am. We're incredibly polished. And then you've got Monique who's kind of like, I'm nice. And you're like, I'm sure. Like, I got the feeling that she's a very she's a nice queen. She seems great, really charming in her own way. And I think I just found it a lot harder to connect with who she was after even 2 interviews. After watching Meet the Queens twice and watching the interview with Sasha, I still was like, "Who are you? What do you do? Yeah. Like, what's your what do you feel about things? What kind of character are you?" And obviously that's difficult because reality TV often is kind of about trying to boil that down to the lowest common denominator of being like, I'm a comedy queen, and like that kind of sticking with you. But I didn't really get a feeling for who she was. I did like her looks. I just didn't quite gel with. I couldn't quite get a hold of who she was.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I just put meh down. Like again, but it's like you said, though. I think it is a really tricky. Like Meet the Queens is really forced. The interview, again, it's like you only have a couple of minutes and it's a lot of pressure. And I don't know. Like I'm obviously open to seeing what she brings, but I am not expecting. Like I'm not excited to see her at the moment.
Yeah. I really hope she does surprise me, but I think when you've got a cast with queens who are incredibly confident and seasoned, that's a tough. I mean that's every season, but like it's going to be a tough ask to try and compete with someone like Money Exchange, if you're, you know, if your whole thing is being like, it's the woo 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 woo, me, it's my experience. You're like, okay, great, but also Money Exchange is that. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so, but no, I did like again that she did say about, you know, competing with herself more than competing with other queens. That's really important, because I mean, I get so tired of queens who kind of walk in and like, I'm the fucking best, I'm gonna beat everyone. And like, firstly, I mean, maybe you do know who they are at this point, but secondly, like, come on now, you know, even a queen who's kind of in the league of their own could still do badly in one of these challenges. Like, it's not, you know, it's not a done deal.
No, I agree with everything you said. We've taken Master's been on a real roller coaster with Monique. He said he actually really liked her, but it's been a few days since he saw the videos, but he remembers finding her funny. But he's doubting himself after listening to us.
Sorry.
Something like, you don't like slate her or anything, but again, I feel like, I mean, we'll talk about it more at the end, but I do think it's a really strong cast this season generally, and a lot of strong personalities and in like unique queens, and because of that, she sort of fades into the background for me.
Yeah, I think she's going to have to really, really work hard to make sure she's not eclipsed by a few of the other queens out there.
I don't know if it's necessarily working hard though. I think she has to have something that sets her apart, and I haven't seen that yet. I'm not saying she doesn't have it, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'm excited to talk about the next one, Vanessa.
Oh, God.
She is a full moment. She is a full moment.
She's something. She is an experience.
I'm here for. I bought tickets.
See, I'm in two minds, because part of me is just like, I'm just like, oh Jesus, save me. But at the same time, I'm like, in some ways, there's something so funny about the fact that she's like, boom, in your face, do it. But I'm like, I don't know. Because I feel like she could be one of those really interesting workhorses who basically goes in and like every challenge is like, I am doing the utmost to get to do well on this, which could really work for her. And I mean, her looks I thought were quite good as well. Like, I enjoyed them. I am just a bit worried that I might just be like, oh shit. But we'll see.
Do you know Trisha Paytas?
That name sounds really familiar.
She's like a YouTube celebrity.
Right.
She's giving me Trisha a lot of like Trisha vibes, both in like looks and like personality. Like, she's just like a wreck, but in like a really like cool, endearing way. I don't know. Like, she's obviously like a lot, and I think so. From what I've seen so far, she has like the personality to pull it off. Like, it could become grating and annoying. I won't be surprised at all. But I'm really enjoying it at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I get the feeling that with a cast like this, you kind of want someone like that as a kind of
exactly. It definitely stands out.
Yeah, because you want someone who's going to maybe push other queens and even, I mean, in terms of reality TV show format, you want someone who's going to push even top season queens to be like, oh Jesus, how am I going to cope with this? I mean, not like it's not a nice way for those kind of things to happen, but we'll see. Also, I do kind of appreciate the fact that she's kind of like, I'm the shit and I know it. Like, there's something quite fun about that.
Yeah, exactly. Fun's a good word. Also, Marcel was like fulfilling my fantasies. He's saying Lagrange and Gia's long lost sister. #team.
Oh God.
Both three together would be magic. I think that's the thing I love. Like, Gia's my favorite queen of all time. Like, I guess it is like a bit Gia vibes in a way, where like she's got talent, but as a bit of a wreck at the same time. And I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah, I think there is something quite entertaining about it. I just I hope that she doesn't, as a result, get cast as some kind of villain. I also love that like everything she says sounds a little bit like she's gonna kill you. Like, something like her face is completely like I do this, I do this, I do this. You're gonna die, and you're like, okay, like, yeah.
I'm into that. I'm into that. Queen keeps me on the edge, you know. Kane saying he loves Vanessa, but he fears that she confuses personality with capability. She's obviously got charisma, but uniqueness. Interesting. Kane, we're going to award. I don't know if you've been. I think even on previous streams, we're going to award our charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talents to different queens. So yeah, interesting. I don't know, but in terms of uniqueness, though, I really think her outfit was awesome for the Sasha interview, especially. I don't know. I think she's definitely got uniqueness, and also I can't, like, again, I know people don't like when you do it, but it's just natural as fans of the show. Like, comparing new queens to previous queens, there's no queen I compare her to. I think she's unique.
Yeah, that's true, and I find it quite funny that like she's a drag daughter of Alexis Mateo, because Alexis Mateo is like seems so different.
Yeah, like
Alexis
sweet and demure.
Yeah, and I don't think sweet or demure are words that you could really apply to Vanessa so far from those.
Exactly.
So I kind of love it, like, but I'm also a bit like, yeah.
It could literally become too much, but I'm definitely here for it at the moment. That's my like takeaway.
Yeah. We'll see. I'm kind of cautiously interested in her.
Okay. That should be your perfume name.
Cautiously interested.
Yeah.
It really sells, I think. You know, it's kind of
by four.
Like other ones you get like these really like allure or something, and mine's gonna be like cautiously.
Exactly.
It's the smell of awkwardness and desperation for social recognition. It's
it'd be amazing. Should we move on to? We've only got 2 left to go.
Vixen. So she's an interesting one because she was obviously in Shea Couleé's Cocky video.
Yeah, I need to watch that again because I didn't know who she was before I watched the video.
Yeah, I did so, and her rapping in that was amazing. I didn't necessarily fully love the look.
Which one, Meet the Queens or Sasha?
Oh, sorry, Meet the Queen. Sorry, what was the Sasha one?
See, interestingly, I agree with you. I was not really a fan of her Meet the Queens look at all, but her Sasha look was by far my favorite for me. It was like the red one with like yellow, like Japanese, like the Japanese.
Oh god, that was amazing! Yeah,
yeah, it was great. Loved it. I was really surprised by it because I was not impressed with her Meet the Queens look. So I was surprised by how much she killed the Sasha look in the interview, and also it was cool that like all her friends made it, and she took the time to explain that. And a lot of her interview was given to that, you know, the community around her. And I think that said a lot as well for me.
Yeah, and I think she's another one who, from what I've heard before, is incredibly political, which is going to be really fun and really interesting. I think she seems like she's incredibly hungry, which is really good. Like, and the little dancing bit she gave at the end of the Sasha interview thing, like she had these like fast hand things happening, and I was like, she's gonna be great. I mean, so far, I mean, I don't know how well she's gonna do. I feel like if someone is up against her in a lip sync, they are screwed. Because I guess get the feeling that she will kill on.
Oh, yeah, she does like in the Meet the Queen. She's like the back bend thing, right?
Yeah, like she is. Yeah, so I mean, she seems like she's going to be a performer, and I'm really excited about it. I wonder how she's going to be. Yeah, I mean, because I guess we didn't see we haven't seen much of any of the queens, but I mean, I don't know much of her outside of what we saw here and the Cocky video, but I'm excited for what might happen with her. I think she's one of those ones who, so far, I've put her in the kind of like near the bottom end of that top 6 for now. I'm really intrigued to see how she could.
See, I don't know if I'd give her top 6. Like, I think she's definitely got potential, but I haven't seen enough from her yet. I don't know. Like, I'm not particularly bothered by her personally at the moment. Again, it's just initial impressions that don't come for me. But if she, you know, I think I'll probably forget about her by the time the show comes out. I don't know. Like,
yeah. I
don't know. She does not stand out for me.
Yeah. I'm wondering if she's going to be kind of like an Aja who kind of needs that little bit, like incredibly visually clever, like really has really interesting references, really aware, very energetic, very good performer, but maybe needs that little bit more time to cook maybe. But I don't know.
Potentially. I guess we'll see. And so this last queen, like, this is a queen I really want to love, but I'm really struggling to love.
Same. That's exactly how I feel.
How do you pronounce her? So I can't read.
Yuhua, I think.
What's her name? Sorry.
Yuhua, I think.
Yuhua.
I think so. Yeah.
Because like she's got a Japanese last name, and then she's wearing a Japanese outfit. Or was it Chinese outfit she's wearing for?
I think I read somewhere or heard her say somewhere that she her family is Chinese, or at least she has some kind of Chinese.
Oh, that makes more sense to me. But I'm just confused by like her reference point and.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I mean, I don't know if her family is only Chinese or there is.
Starts off. I just watched Sasha interview, and she starts off by speaking in Spanish, Portuguese. I don't know, like she uses like those sort of words.
Oh yeah. So I'm not quite sure with her. Yeah, because I mean is it Kamasaki or Kawasaki? I can't remember, because she said that she took that from a Japanese singer.
Yeah.
And whose name is not too different. It's like, is it Yama Kamasaki? No, it's not too different from Yuhua. Maybe Yumi.
Oh yeah, Yumi. I think it's Yumi.
Okay. So I mean, there's a kind of reference point there that's obviously very, very Japanese. In the sense that it's a Japanese woman, but she's another one. At first, I was like, "Ooh, I'm really interested." Like visually, I really liked what she was giving. I really loved before I really heard too much of her speaking, I really loved the way she was speaking. Like very, very animated. Very, you could see she's like always like she's like fizzling and she's about to make like a little joke or something. The only thing, and this is kind of like what I was saying with the whole Eureka making I kind of referred that I was going to talk to her about this. With like Eureka, the whole kind of making a joke before it happened. And I feel like both in the Sasha interview and in the Meet the Queens, it was like illegal alien can't speak English. Like those two jokes kind of came both times.
To me, no, but to me it's not about that. To me, it's about like more what we're saying about Eureka in that like she's relying on a crux she shouldn't like again, like she hasn't worked to be Asian. Like and everyone's over like those sort of jokes, and they weren't even funny in the 90s, but like those were all the rage in the 90s, you know. But like those jokes aren't funny these days, and like I don't know, it just frustrates when people rely on stuff that's like they shouldn't rely on, you know, for comedy.
Yeah. I mean, the thing I was kind of hoping, because there was so much promise there from that first part, was I was kind of hoping that there'd be that little kind of the joke about being Asian, or the joke about being not being able to speak English, or being an alien, and then it would be followed up immediately by something very funny that kind of subverted something, or really played with your expectation, or just was funny. And what I kind of got was her just kind of clinging and being like, "Did you get the Asian joke? Did you get it? I'm going to say it again." So like, okay, we got it. But I mean, because Manila made those kind of jokes in season 3.
I was literally about to say that. I was literally just about to say that.
Even in season 3, those jokes felt a little bit dated.
But also, they weren't Manila's main shtick. I don't think her main shtick is like more campy. Like it's more like an accompaniment to her shtick.
Yeah. She deployed it in that one challenge. Well, 2 challenges really. And then that was it, you know. Like then she kind of went back to not really talking about being Asian, which, you know, definitely there is a place for queens and for anybody really to explore, to present their identity and to be able to express themselves through that identity. But I did feel
that's
like,
really sweet,
like you were saying, there's a difference between that being done as this is who I am and I'm going to make jokes that like play off it, or just like here is the sum total of who I am. Like, did you get it? I'm the Asian queen. It's a bit like, okay.
Yeah.
What are you going to bring to the table?
It just seems a bit, and again, it sounds horrible, but it could be because she's potentially too young, and she may benefit from being on a future season and growing a little bit more. But it just seemed a bit desperate to me, like because she is unsure on herself and not confident in her drag, or like herself as a person generally. Like I don't know.
Did you get it, especially in the Sasha interview? Because obviously in the Meet the Queens, you kind of make a few wisecracks and then it's your time's up. But with the Sasha interview, you're with a person. And what I found really, really weird about it was like at one point she almost interrupted something Sasha was saying, or interrupted something else she had herself been saying, to kind of make the Asian joke, and then kind of was almost like waiting. I was kind of waiting for this laughter from Sasha, who was just kind of like, "I love that," you know. So it was kind of like,
I'm getting on a t-shirt.
In some ways, I think actually Sasha was a really good interviewer for her, because it was actually quite, and not for her herself, but for us to see her, because it was quite good for kind of breaking that down and being like, actually, once this joke falls flat, what is that?
She's unintentionally reading her to filth, wasn't she?
Well, I think she read herself to filth, really.
Fair. Yeah, good point.
But no, visually though, she looks really interesting.
I love the outfit. I love the color choice. I love the makeup.
Yeah, absolutely. Every single bit about it. I loved it. I think she is going to be a really interesting one to watch if she can shake off some of those parts. Because if she kind of throws herself wholeheartedly into it and really gives herself to every challenge and doesn't kind of you know, if that joke happens once and then never happens again, or she explores other jokes through Asian identity that are really funny, then great. But I think at the moment it does feel like she's kind of like illegal alien. Isn't that funny? Woo, funny. I'm illegal alien. And it's a bit like
But
I feel like
I was gonna say, like, I like that's not going to be the case though, because this is filmed after the season's been filmed, and
good point.
So, like, she's obviously like, it's not going to be good. It's not going to go great. Let's be real.
Shit, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah,
that is a really good point. Yeah, that if she's still doing this now, you're like, oh god, yeah.
But on the upside, one for All Stars 5, potentially a good candidate for them.
Yeah, we shall see. That's it. I'm really excited to see what she does visually, because I just get the sense that she's really clever visually. I just really hope that more is given to back it up. Kind of like what we were saying with Calorie. I really hope that something else is shown behind that really justifies a place in season 10.
But she has a lot more potential than Calorie to me.
I feel so too. Yeah, because I think actually she's quite bubbly and funny. Like, if she wasn't making those, like, just relying on that joke, I feel like actually her sense of humor would be pretty great, or at least she'd be very charming. She's very animated.
I don't know if I saw that myself.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, that's probably a bit harsh, but yeah, I'm not apologising. So that's all the queens. Should we go through again, just like talk about what we think of the cast in general?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, as you were saying earlier, I think it's an incredibly strong cast. I think there are a lot of queens who are incredibly seasoned and also know pretty much what they're getting into. So I think they are going to come prepared, and I think
that's a very good point.
You're going to have a lot of queens who really go in there ready, or at least as ready as they could be. So I think, barring any huge disaster or any massive twists, I think a lot of those queens could do incredibly well. And I think a lot of them would have really good careers after this show as well. Yeah.
No, I agree completely. I think, in comparison to the season 9 cast, I'm definitely more interested in the season 10 queens.
Yeah, because I have to admit, season 9, before it aired, there were only about 3 or 4 who I was really excited about. Whereas now I think there are a good 6, maybe 7, who I really could be very happy with watching.
And a lot with a lot of potential as well. There's only one like proper dud for me so far, just based on what we've seen so far, and that's Calorie, to be honest. Like, there are ones I'm disappointed in potentially, but they're still, like, for example, like Aquaria, I've been disappointed in, or the last one whose name I still really wish I'd written it down properly. But they still both seem like have a lot of potential, so there's still a chance they can pull it out of the bag. So I'm still interested to see what they're going to bring to the table. So like I said, Calorie's the only one I've got like no sort of hope for. Like, again, I mean, it'd be nice if she does pull it out of the bag. I'm still rooting for her, but based on what we've seen so far, whereas I feel like season 9, there are quite there's quite a few more who, I wasn't interested in. Sorry.
Before season 9, I think it was only really Shay, Sasha, and Nina who I was really interested in.
Yeah, I think probably the same for me, from what I can remember.
Yeah. Those are the only ones who I can definitely remember.
Valentina?
Yes. I wasn't that, from the interviews and stuff, I wasn't necessarily that excited about her. It was only later that I kind of was like, okay, she's all right.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, but I'm definitely excited. I know, like what you said at the beginning about, we've had like a lot of drag recently, but I'm more excited for season 10 than I was for All Stars 3. I'm banging into the All Stars 3 life at the moment, don't get me wrong, but I think a lot of the community wasn't massively excited for All Stars 3 because there were no real standout queens,
right,
compared to All Stars 2. So I'm actually more excited for season 10 because there's a lot more I'm expecting to see from the cast. Right.
I think that was the thing as well, because All Stars 2, it had been 4 years since the previous All Stars, and the previous All Stars had teams. And in the meantime, we'd had such big, the show had really taken off. And so you had all these queens like Alaska and Katya and Detox, who you kind of knew would be able to come back and have a really interesting thing on All Stars 2. And I feel like All Stars 3 was a bit like, for me, I was a bit like, who's going to win this? Who's like, with it, like, All Stars 2, you're like, oh, this is going to be really good because Alaska's going to bring it. Someone else is going to
do it. Exactly.
Whereas like All Stars 3, I was a bit like, okay. And it was so soon after All Stars 2, so there wasn't even as much of a kind of sense of anticipation. So for me, I was actually, plus I was kind of I was ready, I was being a bitter old man, and I was ready for season 10 to like be like, oh God, here we go again. And actually, just after they announced the cast, I was like, eh. And actually, I'm going to be quite excited about it now, because I'm like, actually, there are some really interesting queens. And
I feel the same. But also, I was just thinking, do you think, like, because season 9 was the first season to air on VH1, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there's a lot of like growing pains potentially, or teething pains, whatever term you want to use for that season. Like, you know, let's use like a physical, like, or like a metaphor, like Rue's makeup, for example, like pretty jank, and like there's confusion about who was doing it and all that sort of stuff, and it's sort of ironed out towards the end of the season. I feel like that's sort of my view on season 9. Like, it wasn't a great season. It wasn't a great season. But then like the reunion and the finale were great. But I feel like now everything's ironed out and running smoothly, everyone's used to the new production and all that sort of stuff. I think season 10 could be a lot better. And also, because of how well the All-Star seasons have done and the sort of sensationalism of it, like the twists, the unique formulas, all that sort of stuff, I'm really hoping they bring some of that to season 10 as well.
Yeah, I think that's where season 10 could really take off if it is handled well. Because the new design for things like the workroom, or even just that intro video, was kind of showing that they're not playing. You know.
Yeah, hopefully. I think it's
definitely far more polished, I think.
Oh, I agree. There's definitely, my thing is, there's definitely from season 9 room for them to take it up a notch, and I really hope they do it for season 10. I think they probably will.
Yeah. Let's hope so. And if nothing else, this just means that we get extra like Lee Dawson recaps and like RuPaul Dark Res as well. So like, I mean,
and our review show,
and of course, I assumed that was a given.
Yeah, that's everyone's number one. Let's be real. It's what the children are gagging for. So, should we award our CUNTs to these new queens?
Yes.
So guys, in the chat, if you want to get involved, just let us know. Put like C equals, U equals, etc. And also in the comments down below, if you're not watching live, then let us know who you would award them to. I think it's especially interesting because it's a whole new cast. It's sort of our first impressions of them. So I'm really interested to see who we award it to now. It'd be cool to look back towards the end of the season and see like how things worked out with these girls as well.
Right, when Calorie ends up winning and we're like, oh, we're so sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No.
Actually, then again, in fairness, if we'd done this before season 9, I would have just been like Nina. So
yes.
So anyway, charisma. So it's really difficult because like with the ones I love most, I'm finding it really difficult to work out who I would put in each of these.
It's part of the challenge.
So I'm gonna I really just want to give loads of them to Monet, but okay, I'm gonna give charisma to Monet because I think she was the one who came across best for me in the interviews, in terms of I got a sense of who she was really quickly. I found her incredibly charming and funny in a very disarming way, because it wasn't like cracking, it wasn't necessarily as big on jokes, it was just naturally very funny. Yeah,
I was going to give it to Monet as well, 100%, for exactly the same reason you said. I think, and reasons we covered earlier, I think she's got the most potential. She's the one who most obviously has star quality to me. So yeah, she gets my charisma as well. Uniqueness?
I might go for Cameron. No, Cameron is Cameron unique enough? I don't know.
Cameron's fair.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Cameron because I feel like that the difference in looks was fun, was something I enjoyed. Yeah.
Okay, mine's easy. Mine's Dusty. I think he's the most unique.
Oh, yeah. How did I miss that? Yeah.
And I'm really here for it. Like I wouldn't give him the unique unless, like, even though he is unique, like unless I was here for it, and I'm definitely here for it. Like I like his style of uniqueness, sort of thing. His twist on things. I'm really excited to see more from him. So yeah, Nerve.
I'm finding that one really difficult. I kind of want to give it to Sasha just for like hanging in there and loving everything, despite that seems unfair given that there are so many. I'm going to go with Nerve for Mayhem, because Mayhem has been predicted for so long that I feel that it actually takes quite long enough to finally go in and then be like, boom, I'm here to win. After with so much expectation, or maybe Aquaria. Yeah, no, Mayhem.
I'd be surprised if you gave it to Aquaria. Yeah, mine's Vanessa. Again, similar sort of things, like the reasons we spoke about earlier. Yeah, she got Nerve, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. I'm really tempted to give Nerve. I was really tempted to give Nerve to Calorie for like that weird like pink and green should never be seen like dress. It was a bit.
I know. I was gonna give her Nerve as well, but I thought that's too harsh. I don't know.
No, I'll stick with what I said.
Yeah, but we've still got the actual show. There's still room to give her some Nerve. Don't worry about it. Talent.
Miss Cracker for those jokes. Because like I had to put them in somewhere. So like I was like it was either going to be like Monet or Miss Cracker, like the other way around. Like so I'm going to go with Miss Cracker for talent because I feel like those jokes are hilarious. Actually, Monet's probably more broad set of talents, but anyway, one of those two always.
Okay, interesting. I think I might give mine to Blair because it's a bit controversial, but anyway, I think she does from what we've seen. I think she does have a talent to back it up. I think she knows exactly what she's trying to bring, and I think she has. Yeah, she can bring it. So I'm really hopeful that I'm not wrong with that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I feel like this is a season as well, though, where like once we get to like the top 8, it's going to be really hard to say goodbye to queens.
Yeah.
Particularly top 6, top 5, like that's going to get tough. Because I mean, actually, I'd forgotten about Blair just in our discussions, but you can't write her off. Like
no.
Yeah.
But it could be like a Bianca situation where there is like Monet could just like be head and shoulders above the others.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Oh, I thought we should do one extra thing as well. Because a lot of podcasts I listen to do it. Most of like this format is taken from podcasts. Where we should talk about like something like that we've been into over the last week, like in terms of pop culture, like music or like a TV show, or something you'd recommend. So I thought you were
going to say like with a lot of podcasts I've been listening to. So here's now going to be an advert from Squarespace or like Squatty Potty or something.
Get my Squatty Potty from underneath my sofa.
Ooh, child! Yeah, it's gonna be like
I love Squarespace.
I love Squarespace. So my favorite thing about all of those is just like how ludicrous it is, like kind of interrupting, like, yeah, I'm just talking about my mother's depression, how it was really hard on me, and it was like, woo, child. I was like,
there's a podcast. I listen to a lot of like crime and murder podcasts because I'm basic like that. Gotcha. And there's like a really funny. I thought it was a serious podcast, seemed like an episode to realize. But there's like a spoof podcast. I think it's called like A Very Fatal Murder.
Okay.
But it's 10 episodes. Each episode is only 10 minutes long. But it's just like a total piss take of that whole formula. And like the adverts they're doing that are so funny. There's like a history podcast he's super excited about. He's like, the advertiser's like, is that called Crazy History Facts or something? He's like, did you know that, millions of years ago, giant lizards used to roam the earth? What? You can find out facts. Like it was just like a total piss take of all this sort of stuff. I highly recommend it. It's called, A Very Fatal Murder. But that's not what I'm going to plug this week. I think that's a good idea though, right? Because it gives like people who are watching like a chance to get to know us better, I think. If we just like chat, mention, like recommend something we've been into the last week.
So the thing I've been into is Janelle Monáe has just released a couple of singles from her new album, which is going to be out in like.
Oh, I mean, I saw them. I saw like an advertisement. I just mean to check them out. Are they any good?
So I really like them. I mean, I love Janelle Monáe anyway, and this looks very promising. So that's probably it. But that's what I've been listening to a lot, and also I've been listening to. This is going to sound so hipster dropping this in. These two things I've been listening to a lot. One of them is Belle and Sebastian, who I love anyway. This kind of like twee indie folk pop band. They're kind of great. But also there is, I believe they're Lebanese. There's a band called Mashrou Leila. No, did I say that right? Probably wrong. Anyway, they I don't understand any of the lyrics because it's all in Arabic, but it's gorgeous. It's very like interesting melodic kind of rock kind of stuff, and the lead singer is gay, which is how I know about him because they have this amazing song called Roman, which is all about at least the video features women in various forms of Islamic dress, dancing, and it's this incredibly powerful, moving song. So yeah, Mashrou Leila. Let me just quickly check that name. Yes. I would recommend.
If you post it to your social media, then people can check it out through the description, I guess.
Oh yeah. Ta-da. Yeah.
Cool.
I'll do that.
Cool. I would say for me, I've been checking out because I'm really into. I think I linked you to one of the songs like last year, but my favorite album from last year is Mansion's album, spelt with a Z. The group comprised of Mike Posner and Black Bear. But because I'm so into that group, I've been listening to Mike Posner's old stuff. And what I didn't realize is because like all the singles are really dancey, but they're all remixes. Like his actual albums, his actual like, stuff he actually produces is like really folky,
Okay.
like super chilled acoustic sort of vibe. And there's a song called Not So Simple on his main album, which is really like a really beautiful song. I sort of had that on repeat quite a bit. But something I think the drag race fans will be really interested in. Okay, this is a podcast I recommend as well. So Many White Guys. But there's a guest, Lizzo was interviewed on that, who's a singer who used to work with Prince and things, I think.
Okay.
She's called Good as Hell. I'll link you to it. You'll like it as well. It's like a really good, like feel-good song. Really catchy. So I'd recommend that.
Nice.
Cheers.
I have to admit one thing that I'm really into at the moment. I became a little bit obsessed with, Adam Joseph, who does all of the really amazing remixes of things that have happened, normally in popular culture, mostly from Drag Race, from what I've seen. His So Into Voguing right now, I'm just like a little bit obsessed with it.
I haven't heard it. I heard it mentioned, but I haven't actually heard it.
Yeah, because it's based from Vanessa Hudgens when she was the guest judge, and she was just, all of her little excited things about people voguing.
That's great. I need to listen to that.
It's so good. I really recommend watching the video of it that's done with Auntie Chan, the drag queen, because it is fucking hilarious. It's just like Auntie Chan like eating like basic white girl things, like edamame beans and like she's got like a Starbucks cup in her hand while she's voguing. It's incredible.
You got to link afterwards.
If the song wasn't already amazing enough, like Auntie Chan just and she's a queen who's really interesting actually. But
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. So I feel like we've gone through everything. So these are just our initial impressions. I'm excited to see like how things unravel and like how our opinions change. But yeah, if you guys let us know what you think in the comments down below, we'll continue the conversation there. And yeah, if you fancy it, subscribe, get involved. So we'll do recaps for every episode for the upcoming season, maybe little videos in between as well, if you're good. So yeah, cheers for joining us. And yeah, we'll do, I think I might be doing a discussion for episode 6, is it, of All Stars 3 tomorrow with Cystitis. So yeah, tune in for that. Come join the conversation live if you can. And yeah, and if not next week. So yeah, cheers.
Bye-bye. Thank you for joining us. Bye.